there as opposed to up to Lincoln Way or Old this morning, and be able to save that from that additional traffic, especially the truck traffic. It's still a matter of where our property ends and where 700 is. There's a piece of property there. Even though you get to Yellow River, where Yellow River goes, something's got to give for an interchange. But then also NIPSCO's transmission depot there, something's got to change there as well. So hopefully
Right.
a little more. We're trying to do all we can to keep traffic all the way through.
Mm-hmm. We appreciate that.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item is Scott Wagner from the Health Department.
House Labor Accounts requires us to have all of our grant money, even though we get it locally, to be in a separate fund. So we created 2 new additional funds, one for suicide awareness, and then the other one for women's health. We've already collected that money. We looked at the ordinances, so that's just a simple matter of fact of accepting that. So in March, we can get the money in there from council and we can spend it then.
The only problem is with 2 people here, you can't pass an ordinance in 1 reading.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fine, as long as you can do it in March, then the next
Okay.
day is council.
So just need to introduce the ordinance today and then pass it.
We're gonna run into another problem because I'll be absent in the March meeting.
But it's
Still,
okay.
there'll be 2 people.
Yeah, you only need 2.
Okay.
You can't do it in 1
Can't.
reading without unanimous consent.
We can't waive the
I
second
gotcha.
reading or whatever.
Yeah, so today you just introduce it, and you can pass it the next one with 2 people.
Okay,
You can't waive the second reading without all 3 of you here.
I got you.
Yeah.
So what would be the ordinance number?
You'll have 03 and 04, so we can do the.
Women's Health Fund will be 03.
For background, we received money, both of these are from the Community Foundation. One was through the Old Settlers Day, that's for suicide awareness. Darcy is QPR certified, but she'll be buying materials when she does classes, that money. The other one's for Women's Health, that was a $3,000 grant for Community Foundation to use. Nightly class, she's gonna do monthly classes at the library for all types of things for women's health, and she already has quite a few people signed up for that.
Yeah, good.
Okay, I'll be back in March then to.
Okay,
So you just need a motion to,
Table it or
no, motion to introduce it or
take it under advisement or something?
motion to introduce those ordinances.
Okay. I move to introduce ordinance 2025-03 as presented.
and I will second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And opposed, the same. That passes. Motion carries with 2 present.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You want to do the other one too?
So I don't know that I have the other
I
one.
don't have the other one.
It's gonna be 04 and it's the suicide prevention one.
Yeah, that one's missing. So I'd entertain a motion that introduced,
I have copies of both.
Yeah.
I'd entertain a motion to introduce ordinance number 2025-04.
Second. So moved.
And I'll second. And is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And that motion carries. Thank you, Scott. Next item on the agenda is Whitley County Council on Aging, Leslie Blakely.
Good afternoon. So today I have our fourth quarterly claim. It's the standard operating claim that we present every quarter for expenses. It looks like for fourth quarter, we're claiming $92,951. And I'll send that through with a pen for signature.
Is this the one that needs blue ink?
Yeah, the next one does.
Oh, I gotcha.
This one doesn't, but the next one will, so.
So I would entertain a motion to accept the request.
So moved.
And I will second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand, and that motion carries.
And the next item that I wanted to present is an updated lease agreement as a part of our compliance audit that we underwent late last year. We found that the current lease agreement that we had in place with the county was just outdated based on the vehicles that we currently have in our inventory. So the form itself, the only thing that has changed other than the date on the form is actually the back page, addendum, Appendix A, which lists all of the current vehicles that we have in our inventory that are under lease agreement with the county. Because of the funding source, we have a few vehicles for which we hold the title, but these are the vehicles that the county actually holds the title to. So that's the only thing that's
And I'm
changed.
okay with this.
Okay.
As long as you're okay with all the terms
Yeah.
and specs and stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So it's just, we presented this to Andy for his review and just presenting that for consideration with the updated list of vehicles.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the lease agreement between the county and the Council on Aging as presented.
And I will second and open up for further discussion. And hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And that motion carries.
Now, I actually just received yesterday the purchase agreement for the vehicles that we will be purchasing this year from the state. It's 2 medium transit buses. All of the documentation was included in the application for funding packet that we submitted last May or June. And this is just the actual purchase agreement for the vehicles that shows the federal share contribution that we will receive in the amount of $214,366.94, with local share contribution of $37,829.46. And then it just gives the specifics on the vehicles as far as the specs and what we've ordered.
I'll move to approve the document as presented for the vehicles.
Okay, I have a motion to approve for a minivan, is that right?
It's 2 medium transit buses.
2 medium transit buses.
Mhm.
I have a motion to approve. I'll second and call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And oppose the same. And is there somewhere that I need to sign on those?
Yeah, sorry, I thought it was flagged, but maybe I kept that copy. Let's see, I'm sorry, it's the second page, page 2 of 6.
I don't know if I have the
It
full.
might be right there, Jen.
You'll see it.
Oh,
There's another page.
yep, it's the back, there you go.
Thank you.
Yep, sorry.
I should mention that Teresa's out on a planned vacation, obviously, so we should have not spaced ourselves so far apart.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is the Humane Society of Whitley County Memorandum of Understanding. I think you've had a chance to review, Rob. And there's no changes in the financial obligation, which is $25,000. So I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
And I'll second and call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And oppose the same, that carries. And the next item on the agenda is payroll and accounts payable claims approval.
So I went up Friday afternoon and looked over payroll, and everything looked to be in order, so I'll move to approve payroll as presented.
Okay, and I'll second and call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. That motion carries. Accounts payable.
Yeah, and went up this morning, or right before this meeting actually, and checked over the last 2 claims. Most of those I got those on Friday, but then there were 2 more, and everything looked to be business as usual, so I will move to approve accounts payable claims as presented.
And I'll second and call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. That motion carries. And the next item on our agenda is our meeting minutes from February 3rd. Have you had a chance to review?
I have. To be accurate, to the best of my recollection, so I will move to approve the previous meeting minutes as presented.
Okay, I have a motion to approve our February 3rd meeting minutes. I'll second the motion and call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And opposed, the same, and that carries. Andy, can you talk just a little bit about our conversation ahead of the meeting about purchasing for whether
Smoke detectors?
Yeah.
So, there's 2 different ways to acquire things, and one falls into a public works category, one falls into a public purchasing category. This is kind of a hybrid. So I think it's closer probably to purchasing, so we can use the purchase statute, so as long as it's under 50,000, we can purchase however we deem appropriate, and I think that we want to use the supplier because they already are the supplier in the monitoring system. There's just a couple issues with the contract related to the county's liability for their acts, and it had a pricing clause that could be adjusted if their costs go up. It says this price isn't fixed, so I just explained to Mark that the commissioners can't approve a number they don't know, so as long as they've already agreed to change, there were some UCC and financing terms in there that weren't appropriate. They already agreed to change those, so as long as they can change that, if the price changes, I guess that's okay, but they gotta come back and get approval and then adjust the indemnity section where they're responsible for their own acts, even beyond they would only be responsible if they were like willfully negligent. So like if they fell off the ladder accidentally, you'd be responsible for it. So I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
So I just asked if they could change those 2 things. We're good with it.
Okay, and that'll probably be then on the next
So we
meeting's agenda.
can't approve it with those 2.
We could approve it with those 2 changes. If you want, if that makes things go faster, assuming they agree to them.
Can they get started sooner?
It'd probably be helpful actually if we did.
I would move to approve the agreement as presented with the 2 edits that the attorney pointed out.
Okay, and I will second that motion and call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand, and that motion carries. So once they've made those edits, then I can just sign, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, at this time, I'll open up for public comment. If anyone would like to come forward today and offer a public comment, now would be the time. Hearing none. Andy, is there anything you'd like to add?
Nothing for
Tiffany,
me?
anything you'd like to add today? Commissioner Schumann?
I have nothing at this time.
And I have nothing to add, so at this time, I'll adjourn the meeting. Thanks for coming.